So in a nutshell, what did we learn? Well, the reason why I bought that shotgun, that particular shotgun, is for a couple of reasons. First of all, it's another discipline that I want to master, and I don't want to run thousands of rounds through an expensive pump shotgun or an 870, say for instance, and just drive a shotgun into the ground. I'd rather destroy an import, and prices, as a consideration. It's $189, and like I mentioned, I run that into the ground, throw it away, and I feel bad about it. I might cry a little bit if I were to destroy an 870 or a Mossberg 500. And then the other reason is, I really like that Remington 878. It's a gun that's older than I am, and it holds a special significance in my life because that's my first gun. That's the gun that I bought, my first gun, with my own money. And just like my dad's J.C. Higgins that he bought when he was 14 or 15 years old, I'll get that gun eventually. I don't want to get the gun that way, but I'll get that gun eventually. And he'll never part with that. There isn't any amount of money that he'll take for somebody to buy that gun from him. It just won't happen. And someday my son will get they'll have to fight her over it, I guess. They'll get my gun, and they'll get all my guns. I'm just a steward of them. But here's the reason why I didn't want to use the Remington for just all around training and shooting. Number one, it only holds 3 rounds. Not a very good defensive gun. It only holds 3 rounds. How many rounds do you need? In a defensive scenario, as many as possible, and 3 ain't enough. Number two, the gun is over 50 years old. If it was, the best I can tell, it's somewhere in the middle of that production run, between 59 and 63, I think is the production years that gun was made. Number three, that gun's pretty, and I got some money invested in restoring it. I don't want to wreck it out the gun range, throwing it around on the ground. That ain't gonna happen. And finally, it's not a good defensive gun. It's too long. So I wanted to get something else. Semi-automatic primarily is one of the reasons why I decided not to use that, because I wanted something simple, something that wasn't going to fail. And so, I took out the gun range last night, like you saw, and shooting it, and I was having problems with it. Wasn't ejecting shells, and here's the culprit. This little piece of metal right here. This little, actually can still get these parts. I've been told they were compatible with 870s and 1100s. It's the extractor. It's in the bolt group, and that piece broke, so it wasn't latching onto the edge of the cartridge and pulling it out. So that's why it was getting hung up inside the action, because it wasn't actually pulling it out and flinging it. So I have to buy one of these. It's like $25 or something like that to get one of these, just a little piece of metal, and then I can repair it. It'll probably go back in the safe. I might pull it out once a year and run 25 rounds through it. But there it is. $25 part renders a shotgun moot. Just that little piece of metal is all it takes. So there you go. What are you gonna do? It's still a machine, needs to be fixed. So let's go fix it. All that for that. this is the bolt for the 878, and this is very similar. As far as I know, it's the same as the bolt in the 1100, and a lot of the components are interchangeable with the 1100 and the 870, and there's a couple other models. Well, right here is a spring plunger that holds that extractor into place, and it just rocks in. So I'll see if I can't illustrate that for you. See if we can't catch it on video without having to shoot across the garage floor. Easy as that. Fixed. So now I gotta put this thing back together. And then once it's back together, then you know what we gotta do. We gotta go back up to the range and test fire. It's a law, you gotta do it. Shotguns are fun. It's fixed. Well, there you have it. Fixed. It was a pretty easy fix too. So the parts are readily available, and like I said, at least in terms of the extractor, there's several different models of Remington shotgun that cross-reference that part. So I happened to find one on eBay for $10. So, and it took more time to set up the camera and position the camera than it took to fix it. So she's running like a top again, and that's exactly one of the reasons why I wanted to go from this 50-some-odd-year-old gun to a inexpensive disposable gun like the Hatsan Escort, whatever the hell it is, that 870 clone. So I can run that thing into the dirt, I can throw it, I can kick it, I can bury it in sand, I can club somebody over the head with it, and if it breaks, I'm only out $200. Ain't no thing but a chicken wing. I actually didn't pay that much for this in 1992 when I bought it. But it's worth considerably more than that, what I paid for it now. But yeah, so the 878 is back in business. If I ever decide to take up bird hunt again, this is my weapon of choice. This gun, I bought this gun because my dad said, how many, yeah, I borrowed his shotgun. And he asked me one day after an afternoon with a friend of mine, skeet shooting. He said, how many rounds you run through that thing today? So I don't know, 400 or 500 rounds. He looked at me and said, son, you need to get your own shotgun because I don't want you to break mine. And so, yeah, it made sense. Okay, so I went to a gun show and I found this one. And I probably paid what it was worth at the time in '92. I think I paid $125 for it. And I didn't, like I said, it didn't look this nice, but it was my own shotgun. And you know, the reason why I bought this, and the reason I hadn't bought my own shotgun before that, because in 1992 I was what, 25, 26, something like that, and let's just say that I was transitioning. It was a period in my life, a season in my life where I was, you know, in some bad situations and with drugs and alcohol, and I just came to a realization one day after my second DUI that unless I made some changes, that things were not going to end well for Ricky. So I decided that I knew that I wasn't going to be able to just quit and disassociate and, you know, quit that lifestyle without replacing it with something else. You know, you can't create a vacuum and expect it not to be filled. So I just kind of, you know, was thinking about, okay, what was I doing when I was the happiest in my life, in my brief 25 years on planet Earth? And the happiest I'd been was out in the woods hunting. So, you know, this gun, in a kind of roundabout way, saved my life. And I spent the next few years during that season of my life kind of rediscovering the joy of hunting and outdoor sports, and I shot a lot of rabbit and took a lot of partridge and squirrels, and it got to be, you know, after 3 or 4 years of hunting every weekend, just about every weekend from September 1st to March 31st, I didn't have to shoulder the gun anymore, and the rabbits were like, okay, yeah, I think you need to get out there 30 or 40 yards before I pull up on you, because there's nothing worse than harvesting a rabbit and picking up and feeling the bones crunching in your hand, because you just hit that poor varying hair with a, you know, 7.5 full load, 7.5 or 8 shot. So yeah, so I wanted to get back into shotgun shooting. I don't hunt anymore, and I wouldn't want to hunt the rabbits that are out here. They're as big as sheep, and they probably taste like shoe leather. But I wanted to start shooting, and I don't want, like I said, you know, this gun is kind of special to me, and I don't want to break it. And it's ironic that I take it out to show you, and I break it. So, you know, 50 plus years, one extractor. It's a pretty good record, I'd say. And this gun was made by craftsmen that you know, didn't have CNC machines back in the 50s. You know, this was made by a craftsman who was a master at making guns. I love this gun. My reloads suck, but the gun is awesome. If you like what you saw, give me a thumbs up. If not, give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. It really doesn't matter to me. If you haven't done so yet, go ahead and click on the subscribe button and subscribe. And until next time, you have fun, stay safe, shoot straight, and you have a splendid day. Bye.